Hello and welcome to Cashmatics. Have you ever been out and after seeing a horizontal or vertical line thought, I wonder if I can represent that line with an equation? Well, if the answer to that is yes, then today's your lucky day, and if you stick around you'll find out why. So let's not waste any more time, grab yourself a pen and some paper and let's get started. Now, as far as straight lines go, horizontal and vertical lines are actually the easiest to equate, but they're quite often done the wrong way around, and people just do that because they're in a rush and haven't really thought about what they're doing. So when I go through these, I really want you to think carefully about the reasons why the equations are what they are, and if you can think about that when you're answering the questions, then it's really going to help you to get them the right way around. So we'll go through horizontal lines first, and as you can see on this axis, I've got a horizontal line drawn there. I'm just going to mark 5 random points on this horizontal line. So I've got this one here, so I'm just going to pick any 5 points. Okay, so these are completely random, but as long as they're on the line, that's what matters. And I'm going to write down the coordinates of these points over here. So the first one, starting from the left, is minus 5, 5. The second one is minus 2, 5. The next one is 1, 5. And then we have 3, 5. And finally 4, 5. Okay, and remember the coordinates go x, y. Now, as you'll see, one of the coordinates never changes, okay, and that's the y coordinate. The y coordinate is always 5, irregardless of what the x coordinate is. And normally with the equation of a straight line, it's a relationship between the x coordinate and the y coordinate. So it's normally in the form y equals something to do with x. But in this case, it has nothing to do with x. It doesn't care what x is. It's going to stay as 5 regardless of x. So this is a special case. So we can say this equation is y equals 5. Okay, because the y coordinate will always be 5. And if you look over here, it crosses the y-axis at 5 as well. So if I want to rule for horizontal lines, I can say horizontal lines are y equals some constant. So that some constant is just a number. So y equals 5, y equals 10, y equals 3, y equals minus 4, etc. Okay, so if I wanted to draw another horizontal line, so imagine I drew one across here. Okay, this crosses the y-axis at minus 4, so that line would be y equals minus 4. And as you can see, the y coordinate is always minus 4. So if I picked a point like that one there, it's 3 minus 4. Now I'm going to do something very similar with this vertical line. So you can see I've got a vertical line here, and I've already marked on 5 points on this line. So starting from the top, I'm just going to write the coordinates. So I've got 4, 4, I've got 4, 3, I've got 4 minus 1, I've got 4 minus 3, and 4 minus 5. And as before, the first coordinate is the x coordinate, and the second one is the y coordinate. And on this one, you can see the first coordinate, or the x coordinate, is always 4. Okay, so this line would be called x equals 4. And it crosses the x-axis at 4. Okay, so if you want a rule for vertical lines, it's always x equals some constant, and that constant is the point at which it crosses the axes. So let's draw another one over here. Okay, and I've drawn that at minus 1.5. So this would be x equals minus 1.5. Now the reason why people get horizontal and vertical lines mixed up is because the x-axis is horizontal, but horizontal lines are y equals something. And the y-axis is vertical, but vertical lines are all x equals something. So that's the reason why people get these muddled up. So please try and make sure you've got that rule clear in your head so you understand how to label these lines. So make some notes if you need to, and then we'll go on to do some questions. So here we go. We've got 4 lines drawn on this grid, 2 in blue, 2 in yellow, and all I want you to do is label them with the equation. So pause the video, draw or sketch the axes out if you need to, and then you'll have an idea if you've got the right answer. So pause the video and I'll reveal the answers shortly. So I'm going to reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Right, here we go. The horizontal lines first, let's do them. So the horizontal lines are all y equals something. So that would be y equals 4 because it crosses the y-axis at 4. And this one would be y equals minus 1 because it crosses the y-axis at minus 1. The vertical lines, the yellow ones, are going to be x equals something. So x equals 2, crosses the x-axis at 2, and x equals minus 3 it crosses the x-axis at -3. I hope you got those right, and let's go on to do some questions in reverse. Right, so here you've got 6 lines to draw. Pause the video and check your answers once you're done. So I'm about to reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Right, let's have a look at this first one. I've got x equals 3. Okay, so that means it crosses the x-axis at 3, and only a vertical line will do that. Okay, vertical lines are x equals something. Okay, the next one is y equals -2, so that's going to cross the y-axis at -2. So that one would be y equals -2. The next one, x equals 2.5. So let's find 2.5. That's there. Okay, so this one here, x equals 2.5. Y equals 4 is next, so it's going to cross the y-axis at 4. So horizontal line, y equals 4. The next one is x equals -4. So x equals -4 is down there. So that would be a vertical line. X equals -4. And lastly, y equals 3.5. So 3.5 is up here. Okay, so let's go across 3.5. So this line here is y equals 3.5. Okay, I hope you got those right. And I've got some bonus questions for you next, just to see if your understanding is correct. Right, so here we are with some bonus questions. Now I want you to really think hard about these ones. So the first question says, what is the equation of the x-axis? So how would you describe that using an equation? And similarly with part B, what is the equation of the y-axis? In part C, I want you to try and do this without sketching it, but sketch it if you need to, but try and do it without a sketch, see if you can figure it out. Okay, you're not going to be able to put it on this grid, but you might be able to put it on a bigger one. But I'd rather you did it without actually sketching it. But it says the lines y equals 10 and x equals -12 cross at some point. Okay, so in those brackets, write down the coordinates where they cross. And the last one, find the area of the rectangle enclosed by those 4 lines. So x equals -4, y equals 2, x equals 8, and y equals -7. Okay, so I'm about to reveal the answers. If you haven't had enough time, or if you haven't paused the video, please pause the video now, because I'm just about to tell you what the answers are. Now for part A, it says, what is the equation of the x-axis? Now we know the x-axis is a horizontal line, okay, and all horizontal lines have the equation y equals something. So for example, that one is y equals 4, y equals 3, this one here would be y equals 1. So the x-axis would be y equals 0. Okay, so the answer to that is y equals 0. Now we can work out the equation of the y-axis similarly. So we've got x equals 2, x equals 1. So this would be x equals 0. So the y-axis would be x equals 0. So let's write that down. X equals 0. The next question, it says the line y equals 10 and x equals -12 cross at what point? Now if you think about it, on the line y equals 10, the y coordinate has to be 10. So whichever point it crosses the other line, the y coordinate is going to be 10. And the other line, it says x equals -12. So the x coordinate has to be -12. So it's as simple as that. It will cross at -12, 10. And just to do a quick sketch, I'll do a quick sketch over here. Okay, so y equals 10, that would be a line crossing at 10 there. So that's y equals 10. And x equals -12 will be down here somewhere. And that'll cross at -12. So if you think about it, if that's the origin, -12, 10. So that point there is -12, -12, 10. And the last one, let's just draw ourselves a rectangle. Now this isn't going to be to scale. Okay, in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend these lines a little bit. Okay, so the line x equals -4 is a vertical line. So this one here, and I've got another vertical line here. So on here, let's put x equals 8 there and x equals -4. And we can tell from there the width of that's the difference between these two. That's 12. Okay, and the vertical lines, sorry, the horizontal lines, y equals 2 and y equals minus 7. That one would be y equals 2, y equals minus 7. And that's got a vertical difference of 9. So the area would simply be 12 multiplied by 9, which is 128, sorry, not 128, 108 units squared. I hope that secured your understanding of horizontal and vertical lines. Like I said, it does get mistaken and people often get them the wrong way around. But if you think about what you're doing, you shouldn't really make that mistake. Next time we'll be looking at diagonal lines using the equation y equals mx plus c, and then in the third video we'll be looking at how to sketch diagonal lines when the equation is given in a slightly different form, which is ax plus by equals c, which is the normal form you'll see your simultaneous equations set up in. But anyway, that's all for now. Goodbye.